For the last 3 months, I've been working on creating my own indie animated show called The Apocalypse Party. And a few days ago, I just finished making my own pitch bible for it. So in this video, I'm just going to go through why if you're creating your own show, you should really make one, how I made it, and just go through it with you. Also, if you like indie animation and you want to help a small creator achieve his dreams, then subscribe, comment, like, any of that. I know it sounds cheesy, I know people say it all the time, but for someone, with not even 500 subscribers yet, getting more subscribers and getting the word out there really means a lot if I'm gonna be able to actually produce my own indie animated show. So to begin, what is a pitch bible? I've had a bunch of friends and family ask what I've been working on, and whenever I say pitch bible, they get confused. What did you say? You're writing a bible for your show? So, for those of you who don't know, a pitch bible is not the Bible, it has nothing to do with the Bible. It is a short presentation or book that outlines what your show/world is about. It's a way for someone who knows nothing about your show to get a quick glimpse into your show. And so, here's an example. For the show Adventure Time, my favorite show, the creator, Pendleton Ward, created this pitch bible to show off what his show was about. It encapsulated the general vibe of the show, the silliness of it, the wackiness of it. It talked about all the characters, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they were good at, what they were bad at, conflicts between them, and it really just outlines what the show was going to be about, what it was at its core. And it even outlined a few basic plot lines and concept episodes. And yes, the link for that will be in the descriptions if you want to check that out thoroughly. And yeah, the concept for a pitch bible is pretty straightforward. So now that you know what a pitch bible is, why should you make one? Well, the main and simple reason is this. No matter how passionate you are about your show, no one's gonna care if you can't put it in a simple and concise presentation, or at least a clear way for them to understand what you're talking about. See, I'm not even pitching mine to a studio or a company, but I do need a clearer way to explain to someone who knows nothing about my show what it's all about, and why they should care. Now, if you're making an indie show like me, and you don't need to pitch anything to a studio, then this also gives your fans and supporters a way to easily see what your show's about, and I can tell that it's going to help me in the future. Now, without further ado, here's the pitch bible for my show, The Apocalypse Party. As you can see, I just had started off with a general thumbnail image of kind of like the main things of the show. You have in the front, you have the main characters and a map that shows where they're going and what they're doing. They're walking on the train tracks, and that's going to be a recurring theme. In the background, you can see a black hole members and dark forest that might contain some corrupted in it, who knows. And so yeah, I just chose a general image that I feel really encapsulates my show. This slide just houses the synopsis of what my show is about, and I feel it kind of is a good way to really get into the pitch bible. The Apocalypse Party is an animated dystopian/horror series about 4 kids who find each other 10 years after an apocalypse where interdimensional aliens take over the world. They find themselves going on many silly and horrific adventures, struggling with concepts of purpose, failure, faith, and happiness. They battle many uncanny and terrifying stop-motion aliens, all the while finding some sort of grip on reality as they grow and mature. The main message of the show will be that of finding peace in chaos and not giving up. Welcome to the Never. And for those who don't know, the Never is what everyone in my world calls America post-apocalypse. Alright, first off, we have our first character slide. We have the character slide for Vincent Lichwinko. He is my main character. Vincent was 7 at the time of the Great Corruption, aka the start of the apocalypse. He was staying with his grandfather Martin, a kooky old prepper, and so when the apocalypse finally happened, Martin was prepared and he and Vincent went into his bunker. Vincent's childhood was spent in a bunker with his grandfather, who taught him all he would need to know about surviving in an apocalypse. He is well educated, good at planning, and coming up with solutions, or at least more than any other 17-year-old in the Never. So yeah, this first slide just really illustrates who my character is, what's some things he's good at, what's a little bit of his background, and just shows a general picture of it. Then I'd have another slide, a few other slides explaining similar things, talking about his goals and some problems that he has. So Vincent's main goal is to find the place his grandfather told him to go and live, called Prepper's Island. Prepper's Island was founded by Martin's prepper buddies. Martin promised Vincent that he would be safe there if he went there. He is a Christian, and while his faith is strong, he does often have to kill, lie, and cause harm to others in order to survive and obtain his goals, so he spends a lot of time repenting. Vincent is an excellent shot, fighter, tactician, survivor, but he isn't too street smart, and his communication and charisma skills are bad because he grew up in a bunker with his kooky grandfather. And well, yes, he may be skilled, he's only 17, and is often limited by his age and smooth skin and inexperience to suffering unlike others in the Never. Besides his main quests, what is Vincent into? Well, he loves music, most notably Megadeth and Metallica, any type of metal. He often shares his music taste with the boys, and they love it as much as he does. Vincent also likes to journal and tries to write about everything they do. He is also a big looter, and is always searching for supplies and shiny things. He does also spend a lot of time with God and reflecting. Speaking of which, Vincent is a very reflective boy. He creates all these plans and sets up all these goals, however oftentimes they are unrealistic, and he gets sad and reflective when they inevitably fail. So, when he's alone, he oftentimes just gets sad, and frequently dreams of a girl to just hold him and tell him it's gonna be okay. He writes in his journal a lot about this type of stuff. Now for my second character, Eddie. Eddie was born day of the apocalypse. He's 10 years old when he meets Vincent. Eddie is a hothead rascal boy who goes in guns blazing without a mercy or plan. Eddie spent most of his young life barely surviving with his mother as they ran from one bad camp to the next, finally ending up in one of the worst settlements in the Never. Life in the junkyard was terrible. Everyone there was bad, heartless, and one day, Eddie found his mother dead and wrecked in the middle of the street at the age of 9. And then, after being traumatized, ran away with all of his belongings and made it his mission to be as tough as he can so nothing bad happens to him again. Eddie's goal is to become the toughest man in the Never. He blames himself for the death of his mother and believes that if he was only stronger, he could have prevented it. Eddie is a 10-year-old trying to mimic a serious tough guy, and he oftentimes will accidentally break character and have a good time with his friends, but mostly tries to stick to the strong, quiet, mysterious loner personality. He doesn't play well with others, and is always taking things one step further than they should be to be on top. For example, while wrestling, he's the one that's gonna bite, and the boys often get frustrated with his inability to think things through and just charge into battle. Besides trying to become stronger, what's Eddie into? Well, he plays his makeshift guitar and loves music. Mainly metal, because he thinks that makes him cool, but on a softer side, Eddie does love playing with toys. He hides it because he thinks that he's too tough and cold-hearted to play with them, but he does at heart. He's also obsessed with making money. He sells everything he doesn't use, and is always looking for loot. Most of the money he makes, though, goes directly into ammo. Even though he wields a double-barrel shotgun, he's really not the best shot. Gus the Space Hero. Gus is 16 when he meets Vincent and Eddie. He was 6 at the time the apocalypse began, and his mother worked at the space station. When the Great Corruption happened, Gus and his mother hid out in the government facility. They had a small settlement going with the rest of the workers until it got inevitably overrun by the corrupted, and only Gus survived. He lived in the remains of the abandoned facility alone for a few years, talking on the radio, starting his own fake radio show, and too scared to leave his own den until Vincent and Eddie showed up, and they became friends and left together. Gus is a good boy who just wants to help people. His innocent goal is to make the Never a better place. He wants to be a hero, just like in all the comics he reads. Gus has moral issues whenever the boys do something bad. He's also just generally pretty much a pussy. He's always scared to do things first or go against the grain in any way. He is very smart though, and is great at building things, especially anything electrical or mechanical. Gus carries a plasma pistol that his mother built for him to protect him. Gus even was able to improve and tweak it over the years. He also set up his own radio signal and frequency of the government facility. So what else is Gus into, besides trying to be a hero? Well, he loves comics, and he likes to listen to the radio, and he has always wanted to have his own real radio show. Gus is also really into space, astronauts, and aliens of any kind. The last of our main characters is Telly. The boys found Telly damaged and alone in a creek while scavenging. They helped him out and got him all fixed up, and then he joined the group. Telly was created 3 years before the apocalypse started, and no one knows who made him or why, but all he does know is that he was held in a government laboratory where they did all types of tests on him. Telly is a robot that wants to be a human. He's kind of like Pinocchio. He is very nice and respects all life, but will kill if needed. He often does not go to kill people immediately, and actively tries to find another, more peaceful way to do things. Telly's main goal in life is to become as human as he can. He would do almost anything to give up his robotic body and become flesh and bone. Even if he can't become a real human, he at least wants to act like one. Him and Gus are very good friends, like brothers really. Telly often pushes Gus to do things outside of his comfort zone, and Gus helps Telly when he does something he regrets. Telly is also a big Christian, or at least really wants to be, and really wants to talk to God and have that relationship with Him. Even if he's not human, he still wants to do the most human thing and believe in a higher power. He wants to still follow the teachings and spread his love. What else does Telly do besides trying to be a human? Telly likes to go for walks in the woods and observe nature. He likes music and reading, and even though he doesn't quite understand it, he wants to. And his personal pick is Megadeth. He also has a fondness for the stars and often wonders if he's from another world, as he is comparatively an alien to humans. And so with that, that was all of my character slides. I kind of gave probably about 3 to 4 slides for every character, gave them general background and what they're into, what they want to do, what they're good at, what they're bad at, just general stuff, and drew a picture for each slide just to, give you more of like a concept of what they actually really would look like. And so, speaking of what they would actually look like, so this slide I just really wanted to show off like what they would actually be doing in the apocalypse, like fighting corrupted aliens and taking a rest from long days walk, or playing music in an abandoned facility, or just having fun fighting around. I really wanted to use this slide to encapsulate what they would actually do. And our ragtag group of main characters would spend most of the show wandering the Never, trying to find Prepper's Island. Doing good, bad, running from monsters, having fun, fighting people, killing corrupted. While Vincent wants to find the island to honor his grandfather's dying wish, the rest just want a purpose and to have some company in the apocalypse. They go from settlement to settlement, doing what they can to help, all the while searching for clues on where Prepper's Island might be. The next slide I made is the villains slide. So we introduced the main characters, we introduced what they're about, what they like, some stuff that they do. Now it's time for the villains. The Corrupted. The Corrupted are the main overall threat to the living in the Never. They are interdimensional alien monsters that corrupt anything they can. They are the main cause of the apocalypse. Once corruptors came to Earth and turned a lot of the population into monsters, there was not much that could be done to stop them. And just note, the corrupted will be in stop motion to differentiate what is corrupted and what is not. This also allows us to make more detailed puppets, which will make the show and the corrupted more scary. For years, there was no settlements or factions in the Never, because once the corrupted got in, it was hard to kill them and take it back. Most people just wandered around for a while, running if they saw any corrupted, maybe fighting one lone one now and then, but the risk of getting corrupted yourself was just too great. After all, the easy and really only efficient way to kill these monsters is with melee weapons, since guns aren't very effective. So someone would have to risk not only getting up close, but also then worrying about the risk of the monster's innards corrupting you. On this slide, I really wanted to explain the corruptor/corrupted anatomy, because there's a lot of things that might seem like plot holes if you don't actually understand what's the inside of them. So I feel like this was really important, so I included this, and also it looks cool, So most corruptors have 3 main bundles which control their body, as you can see on the left. And on the right, most corrupted have 2 makeshift bundles, which is usually taken over the heart and the brain. If the connection between any of these bundles is thoroughly severed, or the bundle is destroyed, they stop moving. And that's all we know. That's all that humans have gathered in the time of the apocalypse. And so that was a setup for this slide, which is, why aren't guns the best option? Well, the corrupted can move very fast and very relentless. So your aim would have to be on point with every single shot, and that's if you don't crumble under the pressure of one just straight up charging at you. Now, the average corrupted will take about 3 to 5 really well-placed shots to a bundle from a rifle to take it down. But for the average corruptor, it's closer to 30 to 50. So most don't use guns to fight the corrupted. Therefore, most handguns and rifles would be honestly the worst to use. However, at close distances, I will admit, some higher caliber shotguns could tear through one pretty easily. And so that's why most folks in the Never only use melee weapons, or just straight up run away when dealing with the corrupted. On this slide, I did some concept sketches for the corrupted, things that I couldn't really illustrate too well or make good puppets of just yet. So I just kind of wanted to show so that I'm not just planning on the basic designs I had up there. I'm definitely going for more complex things that I just can't bring to life just yet. Next is the second biggest bad of the series, the Black Hole. The Black Hole is a militaristic faction that was formed after the most devastating corrupted attack since the start of the apocalypse. They started as a small group of 5 to 10 highly trained individuals who excelled in exterminating the corrupted. However, after gaining much fame and attention for helping deal with the corrupted, they enlisted others in their efforts. However, they quickly realized that most volunteers couldn't keep up with the damn near inhuman constant torture of non-stop battle, killing the corrupted day in, day out. So, they developed a systemized formula that could quickly turn any commoner into a corrupted killing machine. And once this method of making soldiers was developed, they were able to grow and host many culls to get down the corrupted numbers. And through these culls, these large-scale battles, they gained much power and much fear. This caused many settlements and factions to call upon them to deal with their corrupted problems in exchange for people to make into soldiers and technology. Soon the Black Hole had become the most powerful group in the Never, and no one dared approach on their cruel tactics or methods by the time Vincent leaves his bunker and the show starts. So, is the Black Hole actually evil? Well, these heartless hunters live and die to kill the corrupted. None of them have an identity. You see, the system that was designed to turn commoners into killing machines firstly starts off by taking all of the memories from their heads. And once they do that, they are able to become a soldier of the Black Hole. These soldiers don't feel pain, or at least that's what people say, and they wear all black wrappings from head to toe. Their methods are cruel and despicable, but it works so efficiently that no one dares stand out to them, even if they could. The Black Hole started as boys and young men being inspired by the coolness and stoicness and heartless power of soldiers that they saw, and then just straight up enlisting. However, after the fates of Black Hole soldiers became more public, many no longer wanted to join. After all, the mortality rate for an active Kohler is 100%. Their methods require them to give their full bodies and minds for the cause, which will inevitably kill them, and that's if they don't die by a monster to begin with. This means that the Black Hole has been forced to find other ways of getting a constant inflow of men to turn into Kohlers, threatening small settlements to give up their men and their boys or they will be massacred. However, the amount of males in the Never is finite, and so secretly they have been developing methods to make their own soldiers. And yes, these methods are far beyond inhuman. The twist. You see, the Black Hole soldiers don't carry guns. Like we stated before, they carry melee weapons because it's more efficient. However, again, yes, while it is more efficient to deal with corrupted up close, the reason no one's ever going to do it is because there's a really good chance you're going to become corrupted while doing so. And that means that under the coverings that all of these soldiers wear is corrupted, rotting flesh that mutates and marches on until it dies or turns into a monster, only to be slain by another Black Hole soldier. Giving into the cycle, the Kohler becomes the corrupted and is killed by another Kohler who will inevitably give in to corruption himself. Now for a completely different change of pace, to bring the audience back up to this is still a cool show that's not all just dark and depressing, I did some landscape art. Well, I didn't do any landscape art. Landscape art is not my strong suit, so I took some pictures I found and captured to emulate the vibe I'm going for. And so this is just some basic pictures that I feel like really encapsulate the setting of my show. Truth be told, the Never is roughly based off of Washington State. Lots of mossy green forests, mountains, big slugs, interesting towns, and beautiful views. Now, I think I might have stated this before, but a reoccurring theme in the show is train tracks. They symbolize change and destiny and imminent danger. And also, just trains are cool. And I think it really fits the aesthetic and the vibe really well. In the show, the boys will have lots of fun playing in nature, surviving, and using their wilderness knowledge to outsmart enemies. Note, there will be a series of small towns and settlements and factions and all of that, but they are yet to be designed, and I wanted to keep this presentation fairly short. So this was just a general concept of the landscape and vibe. Now for the main course of the presentation. I have pretty much explained everything that you need to know about the characters and settings and all of that general stuff about my show. Now this is time to talk about the pilot and what this show would actually look like. So firstly, the pilot will chronologically take place about halfway through the first season, and the basic plot is as follows. Vincent, Eddie, Gus, and Telly are on their way to find Prepper's Island after sneaking on a freight train. The train stops at Frog, a small town nearby swampy area. The boys sneak off the train to look for directions when the Rat Clan comes out of the sewers and raids a few nearby vendors. Our main characters stop them and vow to bring justice to Frog by getting rid of the Rat Clan permanently. They go into the sewers to stop them, but things don't go as planned. See what will happen to our boys after a mission of getting rid of the Rat Clan goes sideways and the Black Coal and Corrupted get into the mix. Yeah, I thought that was a little fun thing. And yes, the pilot will be about 20 to 25 minutes long, so nothing too crazy. The next slide, I just wanted to state who is going to actually be appearing in the pilot. So, who will be appearing in the pilot? Well, obviously Vincent, Eddie, Gus, Telly, Frogs, Town People, Rat Clan, Rat King, Black Coal, the Corrupted. And so that's really just everyone who's going to be in there, and I thought it'd be a good thing to mention, because I do have a lot of other characters on my YouTube that I talk about, and just wanted to say this is the only people that's going to be in the pilot. Next, I did a concept episode for when this would actually become a show, what the first episode of the real show would look like. I titled it The Never Comes. 7-year-old Vincent is staying with his prepper grandfather for the weekend, but all is not normal. Unexpectedly, the apocalypse starts, and Vincent and his grandfather have to hide out in a secret bunker. His grandfather trains him for the apocalypse for 10 years and tells him about a place he must find called Prepper's Island. One day, bad people come to the door of the bunker trying to get in, and Martin, aka Vincent's grandfather, has to open the bunker to fight them. He kills them and learns that the outside world is not as corrupted as he thought, and he can go out and explore. So Martin does just that. Martin often goes on explorations to learn more about the Never for Vincent. And one day, he finds a corruptor, and is badly hurt trying to escape from it. He makes it back to the bunker safely, but the corruptor is still following him. He records on his notes on how he theoretically killed the monster while running away from it for Vincent. Martin dies, and Vincent is left to kill the monster. The bunker is destroyed as Vincent follows his grandfather's instructions and kills the corruptor. Vincent then buries his grandfather and prepares to go into the Never alone to find Prepper's Island. So yeah, just a real quick concept episode about what the first episode probably look like of my show. Really just the background and the backstory for Vincent. Now for this slide, what I did is I did just to show that there's more stuff that I have planned. This isn't just everything I have. I have so much more that I couldn't even fit into a presentation if I wanted to. So I did a bunch of characters and monsters and like little doodles and stuff that I have in my journal and on my iPad, just to show that I'm not stopping at where this presentation stops. And then I did a please note slide. So please note, many of the characters' world designs are still getting developed, and part of this is due to a lack of my drawing skills, and the other is because I'm still clearly in the early stages of development and nothing is final, and so many styles and plots are definitely going to change before the pilot is actually made. I just figured that'd be a good thing to note, because I think a lot of people will be looking at this and be like, this is a cool concept, but the drawing's shit, and I'm not gonna watch some indie show that's garbage. So I'm gonna actually hire people to animate it and draw it. I'm not doing it myself. Then the last few slides are fan art. This is really important. I feel that if you're pitching to a company or a studio, it's really important to show that people actually care about your show. So for the next few slides, I did some just fan art and fan comic and just real quick stuff to show that people care about my show and that there's an actual want for it, Even with it not even being developed yet, it's still getting fame. And the last slide, I just repeated the thumbnail just to do a little outro, I guess. So yeah, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Honestly, making this pitch Bible has took a mental toll on me, and for someone who lives a lifestyle a little less structured than most, having to keep working on the same drawings and the same writing and same all that really wasn't that fun, but I'm happy with how it came out, and I can tell you that it's really going to help me in the future. I'm actually planning on using this for when I start my Kickstarter. And now, yes, if you've been on this channel before, if you watch my videos, I know, I've been saying I'm going to make a Kickstarter for a while now. But now that the Bible is actually done, all I have to do is do some research, make an account, and actually start posting. So, hopefully, that should be up later this week, if not next week. And I know this is a bit to ask, but I really would appreciate if you could help support me on it. And, okay, I get it. For those of you who don't want to spend your precious monies or need it other places, totally fine. Subscribing and commenting goes a long way, especially when I'm trying to make something as ambitious as this. So just helping me get the word out is more than enough, and I appreciate it. Oh, subscribe. So yeah, thanks for watching, and for anyone who is making a pitch Bible or show currently, I wish you the best.